So I apologize, y'all. I'm gonna go ahead and make this a part two of where I was just headed. So I'm gonna cut this up into two videos. But like I was saying, it's almost like I wasn't allowing myself to understand the depth of what I was doing. I wasn't allowing myself to understand that I wanted revenge, that I was being vengeful. I wanted people to see me shine to make them feel lower. And there's nothing healthy about that, we should never try to hold ourselves above anybody. And it was all out of fear. The fear of them seeing me weak, the fear of them seeing me hurt, the fear of them pooping on me, the fear of them, standing over me. I don't like the thought of that. I never have. And that is simply my pride. So today I give my pride away right before y'all very eyes. That's why I wear no shirt today. I would love to have this in better order. You know what I'm saying? But today, no shirt. I'm coming to y'all, quote unquote naked. I'm showing my true self, man. I'm releasing. I am setting myself free with the truth, with this confession right before y'all very eyes. Like I said, I will never claim perfection. I'm just trying to get better every day. So, like I said, this lesson is called Residing in the Strength of Christ, right? This is about releasing yourself from the pride and the anger. I know y'all caught my last video, those who've been tuning in, about, ceasing to anger. And I've been doing pretty good with my anger, but my pride has had a chokehold on me. And today I let that go. And I ask God to replace that thing with love, patience, long suffering, understanding, all those good things, Today, I'm dying to my flesh that much more. I'm dying to my carnal self that much more right before y'all very eyes to show you can do it too. Ain't no shame in that. Ain't no shame in this game. Let's get better every day. So I actually have I have some stuff in the Bible for y'all, actually, in the book of John. Now, this is about, give me a quick second. This takes place when Jesus is having his Last Supper with the disciples, and he is pretty much about to be crucified, right? So I'm actually going to read the whole chapter 13 to y'all. Stay with me as long as you can. If you got to come back to watch it, come on. But y'all know I ain't going to hold you too long. You know what I'm saying? But we are going to have church in this moment, right? So I'm just going to start right off the top, and I'm going to give examples, and I'm going to give a little testimony, and I'm going to give a little word as I go. So we're going to start in John chapter 13, starting at verse 1. It says, "Now before the feast of the Passover, when Jesus knew that his hour had come, that he should depart from this world to the Father, having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end." Just think about that. Think about the things Jesus had to die to in order to understand that he was about to die for the world. I love y'all to death, but I don't think I have it in me to die for y'all. Not today anyway. So just think about that. We can be honest with ourselves. So just think about that alone. There was many things he had to shed and had to give up. Jesus was a man too. He had thoughts. He had manly thoughts as well. So, going on to verse 2. "And supper being ended, the devil, having already put it into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him." Judas is one of the disciples that was the disciple to betray Jesus. "Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things into his hands, and that he had come from God and was going to God, rose from supper and laid aside his garments, took a towel and girded himself. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and to wipe them with the towel with which he was girded. Then he came to Simon Peter, and Peter said to him, Lord, are you washing my feet? Jesus answered and said to him, What I am doing now, what I am doing, you do not understand now, but you will know after this. Sometimes God is doing a thing in our life, a new thing in our life, and we don't quite understand. Sometimes it hurts. Sometimes it don't hurt, but we don't understand. And until it's all said and done, it's like watching a movie. Like, you don't know why they doing certain things, but some stuff is foreshadowing what's to come, right? So I'm just gonna continue on. We're going into verse 8. He said, and Peter said to him, You shall never wash my feet. Jesus answered him, If I do not wash you, you have no part with me. So if God don't clean us up, if we don't get rid of these old things, we have no part with Christ. He can't use us if we don't die to these things. Peter said to him, You shall never wash my feet. Jesus answered him, If I do not wash you, you have no part with me. Simon Peter said to him, Lord, not my feet only, but also my hands and my head. Jesus said to him, He who is bathed needs only to wash his feet, but is completely clean. And you are clean, but not all of you. For he knew who would betray him. Therefore he said, You are not all clean. So when he had washed their feet, taken his garments, and sat down again, he said to them, Do you know what I have done to you? You call me teacher and Lord, and you say, Well, for so I am. If I then, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also ought to wash one another's feet. He's saying, let's help each other clean this up. Let's help each other clean this up. That's what I'm trying to do today. That's it. I'm not trying to be better than nobody. I'm trying to help my brothers clean themselves up. I'm washing feet right now. Let's continue to wash each other's feet. Let's love one another the right way. Let me see. He said, I'm going right into 15. That was 14. For I have given you an example that you should do as I have done to you. Most assuredly, I say to you, a servant is not greater than his master, nor is he who sent greater than he who sent him. I ain't no better than y'all. If you know these things, blessed are you if you do them. God will bless you for taking care of one another. And he will bless you for taking care of yourself. Amen. Going right into verse 18. I do not speak concerning all of you. I know whom I have chosen, but that the scripture may be fulfilled. He who eats bread with me has lifted up his heel against me. Imagine how Christ felt knowing he was about to be betrayed by somebody he only showed love to. How many of us have felt that, been betrayed by somebody that we love? That's why I come confessing today. I was betrayed by someone that I love. It hurt. I wanted revenge. But today I let it go. Today that is no longer in me. Today that is no longer my bondage. I let that go. I'm done with that. Eats bread with me and lifted up his heel against me. Now I tell you before it comes, that when it does come to pass, you may believe that I am he. So he told them, he said, now I tell you before it comes, that when it does come to pass, he's saying, I'm letting y'all know now. So when it happens, y'all can know that I am he. So y'all can know he told no lies. So y'all can know that he is the one. So y'all can know that he is God, right? Most assuredly, I say to you, he who receives whoever I send receives me, and he who receives me receives him who sent me. There's a chain of command in this. He said, most assuredly, I say to you, he who receives whomever I send receives me, and he who receives me receives him who sent me. Who sent Christ? God himself. Who's Christ sending? His disciples. His ambassadors, people like us. He wants us to be ambassadors for him. All of us. Nobody's more special than the next. Answer the call. Answer the call and be used. Uh, when Jesus had said these things, he was troubled in spirit, and testified and said, most assuredly I say to you, one of you will betray me. Jesus was hurt. He was hurt. He was troubled. Just as I confessed to y'all today, I was hurt. But Jesus did not seek vengeance. He let prophecy play out as it was supposed to. He didn't stop and say, hold on, God, 1 second. I can't fulfill this prophecy. I got to get my get back. He continued on because he loved us that much. Today, I'm showing y'all that I love y'all. I know a lot of people don't take that word well. I say that genuinely, though. That's why I come naked today. I say that genuinely. Yes, I have pants on. I'm just not wearing a shirt. Understand what I'm saying? Then the disciples looked at one another, perplexed about whom he spoke. Now there was leaning on Jesus' bosom one of his disciples, whom Jesus loved, Simon Peter. Therefore motioned to him to ask who it was of whom he spoke. Meaning, Simon leaned back on Jesus. He was laying on Jesus. He was laying all, like a son would lay on his dad. You know what I'm saying? He was just loving Christ up. Jesus was right there. Like, just imagine how you would feel if you could literally lay on Jesus. Like, so, maybe a grown man, there's nothing awkward about it. The thought of it, I understand. But Simon's laying back on Jesus, and he's like, Jesus, who are you talking about? Who's gonna be the one to betray you? And Jesus says to him, Simon Peter therefore motioned to him to ask who it was of whom he spoke. Then leaning back on Jesus' breast, he said to him, Lord, who is it? Jesus answered, it is he to whom I shall give a piece of bread when I have dipped it. And having dipped the bread, he gave it to Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon. Now after the piece of bread, Satan entered him. Then Jesus said to him, what you do quickly. But no one at the table knew for what reason he said this to him. Now, we've all had a moment like that with like a grandma or something like that. Grandma done got us out of trouble, and she gives the secret code word in front of everybody, but don't nobody know what she talking about but you. You know what I'm saying? Maybe grandma just handed you a 20 out of nowhere, and she like, hurry up and go to the store, but she don't want everybody to know what she mean. It was something similar to that, So, but this is not necessarily a good thing though. But this is because after Jesus dipped that piece of bread and he gave it to Judas, they said Satan entered him, meaning that hate, that jealousy, all that entered him, and Jesus said to him, what you do quickly. But no one at the table knew for what reason he said this to him. For some thought because Judas had the money box, that Jesus had said to him, buy those things we need for the feast, or that he should give something to the poor. Having received the piece of bread, he then went out immediately, and it was night. So when he had gone out, Jesus said, now the Son of Man is glorified, and God is glorified in him. If God is glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself. So what Jesus is saying is, he says, now the Son of Man is glorified, meaning now this is the beginning. Now it's set in stone what he has done. Jesus is glorified now. He's walking into his purpose. God is glorifying him, and God is glorified in him. So glorifying Jesus is glorifying God. That's basically what they're saying. If God is glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself. So he's basically saying God is accepting Jesus as his own, and he is glorifying Jesus. And to glorify him is to glorify Jesus. They come together and glorify him immediately. So as soon as that process began, Jesus was glorified right then and there. He was the one at that very moment. Little children, I shall be with you a little while longer. You will seek me, and as I said to the Jews, where I am going, you cannot come. So now I say to you, and the reason why he said you cannot come is because he's about to die. He's going to his death. You cannot come. So now I say to you, A new commandment I give you, that you love one another as I have loved you, that you also love one another. We all understand what that means. By this, all will know that you are my disciples, if you have love for one another. That's how we get recognized right there. That's how we become an ambassador. Love one another. Love one another truly. Simon Peter. Now, this is Simon Peter, the one who was laying back on Jesus' bosom, the one who was laying on Jesus' chest, talking to him, asking him who's going to betray him. And like Jesus said, he loved Simon. He loved him very much. Simon Peter said to him, Lord, where are you going? Jesus answered him, where I am going, you cannot follow me now, but you shall follow me afterward. He's foreshadowing. One day we have to die. And when we die, we rest, then we go to Christ. Right? Peter said to him, Lord, why can I not follow you now? I will lay down my life for your sake. Jesus answered him, will you lay down your life for my sake? Most assuredly, I say to you, the rooster shall not crow till you have denied me 3 times. Ooh, Simon Peter, the one who Jesus loved. Ooh, imagine this. Look, Peter said to him, this is verse 37. I'm still in chapter 13. Peter, the one who was laying back in his bosom, Peter said to him, Lord, why can I not follow you now? I will lay down my life for your sake. Jesus answered him, will you lay down your life for my sake? Most assuredly, I say to you, the rooster shall not crow till you have denied me 3 times. So what happened right here is Simon Peter's pride, Simon Peter's false sense of self-strength got the best of him, right? He wasn't leaning on the love of God when he said that. He wasn't leaning on he hadn't yet died to his pride. He hadn't yet died to his will of wanting to conquer with his own strength quite yet. So imagine how Simon Peter felt when God told him, because he thinks, you know what I'm saying, in his carnal mind, he thinks, I love God to death. I'll lay my life down for him. You know what I'm saying? Imagine how hurt he felt. And I felt that same pain today when I realized that my pride was getting in the way of my walk with Christ. It's not a good feeling, y'all. I say that to say it's not a good feeling. But this is a great man. But listen, see, there's more to it. God will restore you at your worst. He will restore you. But we must first give it up to God. We have to accept the fact that our strength is nothing compared to his, right? Oh, excuse me. Our strength, leaning on our own strength, gets us nowhere. And it'll even have us thinking that we got it going on and we don't. Because I've been thinking I got it going on and I don't. And I haven't. Because I've been leaning on my own strength and my own understanding. I'm going to continue over into chapter 14, but I won't stay too long. I'm just going to read a little bit just to kind of give y'all a little bit more understanding about prophecy and give y'all shine some light on Christ. Shine some more light on Christ and let y'all see how loving and caring he really was. He was such a man. He was the lamb without blemish, man. He never done wrong. He never done nothing wrong in his life. Starting in chapter 14, I'm just going to continue on here a little bit. Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in